Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show. Today, I feel like we have to update our potties because we had potties that jumped in during our support drive, and thank you. And I love seeing people say, hey, I'm a proud potty, and we saw people being generous inside of that because if you love the podcast, it exists because we work for a radio station, and we get to keep doing this as part of that. So thank you for supporting it. We hit our goal at 100% of the need, which was amazing. But I was like kind of whooped on Friday mentally, verbally. I didn't want to talk to anybody because we talk so much during support drive.
You said you were whooped on Friday,
Yes.
This last Friday?
Yes.
And then you did what with your Friday?
I went foiling after work, which is like this water sport. I came home and mowed the lawn. Then I uncharacteristically went to a 7 o'clock nighttime movie,
so late.
which we weren't going to go to because my wife didn't want to go. And I'm like, come on, quit being old. Let's go. And then her friend was like, oh, we'll go with you. And then she wanted to go. And I'm like, ugh. And so we went to that. Then I came back. I got back at like 9:30 or 10 from the movie. And I built Betty Rock's cat thing that she bought. It's a litter box and feeding piece of furniture that I'd been customizing for her. So I finished that off.
And she was happy?
Yeah, oh yeah. And then I watched a documentary till 1:15 in the morning.
Like you could have easily gone home. You could have done the old person thing where you went to bed at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
But I do understand that after like a crazy week, you kind of want to try and get as much either done or have as much fun with the weekend to kind of restore yourself.
Exactly. And so, so I knocked it all out. I did go see the Barbie movie. That's what we went and saw.
Let's go party.
Have you seen it yet?
No, and I at this point I think it'll get to like HBO Max someday, and I'll see it there eventually.
Even then,
I've heard certain things. I don't personally care for like what everyone either like speaks super highly of it or speaks like super negative of it. At this point I've kind of reached this point where I'm like, I just don't know if I think that one looks entertaining.
It wasn't. I solely went because my wife wanted to go see it, and I would not have gone. Like, we have AMC A-list.
Sure.
I would not have paid to go. 100% would not have paid to go. But the only reason I did want to see it was there was some controversy about the content of it, and like, oh, is it this, feminist thing? And then is it super LGBTQ? And is it all these things? And so people had all these opinions about it. And I do have to say that the opinions that people had going into it that they were talking about, I didn't feel were these big, giant things. It was an agenda piece, 100% agenda piece. Men are stupid, men are controlling, men are the problem, and women are awesome, and they're going to defeat men. Like, I you know what? That's a perspective. Because men have ruled a lot of the world for a lot of years. And we have done dumb things. And we do dumb things.
And movies are where you, blow things out of proportion for cinematic sake. Like, that's just what movies are.
But we also have gone to the moon. And we also have done some pretty amazing things.
Pretty good.
I don't get all bent out of shape about it. Like, oh, they just hate women or they hate men. And that's what this is about. It's a man-hating thing. It's a different perspective from a feminist type view that is going to be completely counter to like what I believe, and I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Sure.
That's not like a crazy thing that I get bent out of shape about. It was just how it was done was so bad. That was
from a movie,
so bad from a storytelling standpoint,
oh.
And it was just lame. What's his name? Ryan Gosling is good at the character he's playing, but the character is so overblown. And I see what they're doing. Like, they're like, he's nothing without Barbie. And that's what, from a feminist perspective, women have been told their whole life, you're nothing without a man. So again, it's fair. Like, I get it. I understand it, but it just wasn't good. Like, so we sat there, and I told my wife, because I was tired, I'd had a long day, and normally if I fall asleep in a movie, she'll nudge me, and I said, seriously, do not nudge me. If I nod off, please, I'm begging you, do not wake me up.
It was also pretty late.
Yeah, let me just sleep it out. And I told her, I said, because I don't want to be here. I want to be here with you, but I don't want to be here. Like, this is not a movie I would ever choose to go see. So, sure enough, man, I get 30 minutes in or so, and I fall asleep, and I miss a giant chunk of the movie, and I wake up with probably 20 minutes to go, and I watch it, and I still don't feel like I missed anything.
Did Marty like it, though? Because you saw this for her.
Yeah, she thought it was cute. She was like, oh, it's fine. Like, she was like, it's cute. Mm-hmm. She's like, if you asked her, did you like it, she would probably say yes.
It's made so much money this year. It's one of the
godly amounts.
Best movies. The only other movie I think that's outdone it so far might have been the weird Super Mario Brothers movie.
Did it really?
Oh, Super Mario's made like $1.3 billion. But I think that's Nintendo's impact on like Asian culture and like a lot of that. Yeah. This one I think just like had a swell probably of like, you know, like people who grew up with Barbie toys getting to go see that kind of movie in a way that wasn't, you know, your cheesy kids animated show style.
I don't think it's necessarily a kids movie. I think it's more for women that have the nostalgia. Yeah. And there's this weird thing too. Okay, so it's written by a woman. There's this weird riff they try to do comedically. And it's basically a double entendre, like a dirty joke kind of thing. And they just beat it into the ground, and it wasn't funny. Like, I can handle blue humor. Like, I'm an adult. I can handle it. I don't get offended, especially if it's something that's done creatively. I go, oh, I can see that, you know. But, like, it was so just base level that it wasn't even funny. It didn't need to be there. And I was really surprised that a woman writing a feminist-type movie kept it in.
Sure.
Because it would be, if she went and saw that joke done in a guy movie, she would have been like, guys, you just jerk bags, you know, like, so it was weird. And then they had one trans character in there, which I think is really funny to have a trans woman in a movie about female empowerment. You're like, okay,
did you miss something, guys?
Yeah, nice. Okay, that's good. But it wasn't heavy on that stuff. But by and large, I didn't think like the message, because basically it is working towards an end and a big moment that's an empowering message for women and girls of all ages. And I just don't think it landed. Like, I don't think the writing nailed it. It's kind of like when a Christian film gets all the way up to that point, and here comes your big soliloquy at the end, and someone's going to get saved, or they're going to say the thing that's going to make it all click, and you're like, ugh. It was flat. It fell flat. It didn't land. And that's what I thought this one was. To me, it just did not land and didn't accomplish what they probably wanted it to, in my opinion. But then again, it's made $1 billion.
Sure.
Right? So, I mean, somebody liked it. So
I think that I'll see it eventually. I don't envision loving it just because I thought maybe if it was clever funny, then I'd be like excited to see it, but I haven't heard clever funny. I've heard just sort of like kind of everything you've talked about. And again, we stopped doing AMC, so I would have to pay to see this movie,
right?
And I don't feel called to pay $30 for my wife and
I would be so disappointed for you if you paid money to see this.
I was disappointed in you because I thought that you weren't going to see this
I wasn't
movie.
going to.
I thought you were going to stand strong on that take.
I wasn't, and it was free, and I went, and I was allowed to sleep. So I was like, okay, and I went to be with my wife and my friends. And then it was so bad, though, because my friends brought their daughter, who's 15,
really?
with them. Yeah, and so... And she liked it. She's dressed all in pink. And so I can't be that guy that just tinkles on it, you know? And so I had to be like they're all talking about it. And contrary to popular belief about me, I didn't say a word. Normally, I'm super outspoken and I'm going to speak my mind. If their daughter hadn't been there, I would have walked out and went, this was the biggest piece of poo I've seen, you know? But their daughter's there, and I didn't want her to, like, I don't know. I didn't want to influence her, you know? So anyway. So that was that. I did go see a second movie. I used my AMC this week.
Oh, yeah. What did you...
I went and saw Gran Turismo.
Oh, that is... You told me that about. Okay.
And it was not a bad movie. Like, I did like it, but I like racing, like movies, and I like video gaming. And the fact that it's based on a true story is what's really weird. That's what people can't get their head around. Like, I had seen one of the races that this guy did in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It was just a really hard race. You literally raced for 24 hours with a team of drivers. But what they had done is, the premise of this is they had taken and done a contest for video game players that play this game, Gran Turismo. And if you won, you got to go to a driving school and then race against professional race car drivers in a race car that could kill you. I've done race car driving before, and it can be super, super scary, and there's a lot to learn in a very short amount of time.
It doesn't look like it's for everyone, or like barely anyone.
No.
Just because you have to have reflexes, you have to withstand the force of going over 180 miles an hour.
And you think, oh, I can drive. It's not a big deal. I drive 90 down the freeway anyway, and I've got coffee in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is so different when you're all doing 100 down a straightaway into a hairpin turn, and you're 3 wide, and you have got to make some decisions.
I was watching F1 this weekend, and they started the race off, and it was raining.
Yeah.
And like, it's just when we drive in rain, we drive a little slower. We're still going like 65 miles an hour. These guys are still trying to push 150 miles an hour, like you said, going into a turn in these cars where their bodies are actually like out.
Yeah.
It's not like, and they are protected and they are covered, and usually nothing happens, but like their bodies could, I mean, if it goes horribly wrong, you're right in the open.
The cars I raced were open cockpit like that, and it's so crazy. You feel everything. And so you basically, you're flying around this track, and and everything you think you know about driving doesn't hold true. And then there's things that you learn, and in the process of doing it, that it takes time. But it's fascinating though that this was a real life story. I don't know how much of the story then got embellished, you know, but every actor in it had the guy from Stranger Things.
David Harbour.
They're the real low voice guy. He was great.
Hopper.
It had Orlando Bloom, who I did not even recognize as Orlando Bloom because I'm face blind, but it's him. He was great. And the kid that played the lead was really good, too.
Oh, good.
So, all in all, and Jerry Halliwell is in it. Ginger Spice.
Oh.
Christian from Red Bull Racing's wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, because you watch F1.
Yeah, that's
Gavin,
ironic.
His wife was huge in the Spice Girls, and
That's
then
cool.
she's in this as the mother of this kid. And
that's ironic.
And she was great in it. Like, it was, so for me, that was a good movie. Like, I got to redeem Friday with Saturday.
And okay, so this would be the type of thing, because we don't have Betty here right now.
Right.
You would say that was a good racing movie.
I would say it was a good movie about racing.
Okay, if you told Betty to go see a good movie about, like, you wouldn't say, hey, it's a great movie.
Right.
Would you tell her, like, clarify?
Yeah.
'Cause she criticizes us for this whole dinosaur movie.
It was a good dinosaur
Jurassic
movie.
Park
Yep.
3 garbage.
Like, this one is not like Ford versus Ferrari was a great racing movie. And there's been a couple really great racing movies. This was an entertaining movie about racing. And the fact that it was a true story was good. But they did a good job. So I was
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, that one is worth seeing, in my opinion, for you. This is great. I got this email. Hey, Wally, my name is Tyler Matthews. I'm from Hartsville, South Carolina. I love listening to your show. I'm a potty. All right. Thank you. I know you've talked about this on the show, and you've even posted about getting one in the airport while you had a travel problem on your recent trip. It's been a topic you've ranted about, and the turtles are a big deal. Save the turtles may be a thing of the past. Plastic straws are now said to be better than paper straw. Here's a link to an article. And then, Gavin found the same story as well, and I could not have been happier.
Kind of an exciting development for the non-crazies of us that just want our plastic straw that makes a drink perfect.
Yeah. How many of you think that your plastic straw is really going into the ocean and creating these oceans of plastic that are floating around out there, these islands of plastic? It's not. It's like so much of it. I saw a whole documentary about this. A big chunk of it is fishing gear and things like that. That's what is putting plastic in the ocean. Your straw, very few of your straws are making it into the ocean. There was 2 straws that have ever been in the ocean. One that I dropped off a boat the other day, and 2, the one that went in that turtle's nose. Okay, so that's it.
2.
Just those 2 straws have ever made. No, look, I understand we want to protect the environment. I get it. I understand it. But, man, we went so crazy over that turtle video, getting that straw out of that turtle's nose. That's where it started.
That's so silly.
And then everyone was like, we've got to do something. We got to save the turtles. Either save the turtles or teach them to learn how to drink out of straws, like the right way.
Isn't it partially true that most things that like we think are recyclables don't end up getting recycled? They have to put this little symbol on it, but it doesn't mean strictly like, hey, buddy, like this thing, it's going to get turned into your next plastic cup of coffee.
The vast majority of the stuff that you think you're doing the right thing by recycling is not being actually recycled by companies. And so what we do with it, though...
Good job, us.
This is what we do with it, though. You might not know this, is we chop it all up, we break it all down, and then we export it to other countries that then throw it in landfills because we can't because of our policies. So we haven't helped the environment. We've just moved it. It's like, not in my yard.
Not my problem.
Exactly.
Wipe our hands clean.
That's 100% of what we do with this stuff. But they tested these paper straws, and so they found that they have what they call forever chemicals in them, and these are things that are linked to health issues like cancer and that do not break down in nature. And so the paper straws have problems as well. Bamboo straws, they said, have problems. Glass straws, 40% of those had problems as well. So all of these things, that surprised me, but all of these things that were like, oh, this is going to keep the turtles safe and not pollute the ocean, are still not 100% safe for you. And they're like not any worse than the plastic straws. Again, it was that one video that changed all of this.
Now every company should just comfortably go back to, not that I know a ton that are going down the route of paper straws, but I know we went to a farmer's market recently and they had like bamboo straws.
Yeah.
And I think I remember seeing that in the
That was in
article.
it too, yeah.
80% of it was like harmful chemicals. So I'm like, okay, like I got to stop even considering feeling guilty about this.
Yeah, I had I was traveling in California and I got paper straws, and then I was somewhere else unexpectedly and I was like, oh, a paper straw, this is weird. I can't wait till this collapses. And so, but again, all of that to say, I still have a stash of McDonald's plastic straws that I will never get rid of. Like, those are going to be worth currency someday. They did say that the stainless steel straws are the only straws that did not test positive for the forever chemicals. I'm really surprised at that.
Yeah, then you do you have the risk of like it tasting metallic and that impacting your taste, I guess, but good for them.
And then you got to wash your straw, and then you got to take it with you everywhere and look pretentious.
We have like those we have those like little like straw cleaners, and like I'm probably kind of guilty of like whenever, because my wife's the only one that uses them.
Oh yeah.
And I'll every once in a while she'll like, can you please like clean my straw? I'm like, yeah, here you go. Like run some water through it. And I'm like, that feels good.
Oh,
feels
absolutely.
Good
That's the most I ever do.
She's like, put some soap on one of those little foam things and stick it in there. And I'm like,
I have these like bladders for hiking, but I use them for mountain biking. And I use like a grape water, so it's not just water, but any liquid in there will stay in it. And so you have to put these chemical tabs in there to help. You've got to dry it out really good. And then, I pretty much, I like wash it out and I try to blow all the water out of the hose and stuff like that, but I'll wash it good once a season.
Yep.
And the rest of it, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah, that's how I feel about certain things that I'm like, I feel like there are probably bad aspects of, let's say, like the water that I drink from the tap in my house, and I could go out and get a filter, but I'm 3-ish years into this house that I'm in, and I'm like, don't feel too bad, so maybe I'll just keep going.
Your skin's still glowing. You're doing great. So with that, any birthdays for me?
I do. I got a chunk of birthdays because we're catching up
from support
a week
drive
off. So let me go back to what would be the earliest one.
Okay.
It's going to be Erica. She's wishing a birthday shout out to Kaya. She is a sweet auntie and her sister who babysits our rambunctious. Okay, so Kaya is Erica's as an auntie, and she's Erica's sister. Man, Betty does such a good job at this. Babysits our rambunctious kids. Let's see. You've got Heather wishing her husband Jeremy happy birthday. He collects shirts with puns and loves to make people laugh.
So funny.
Love this guy. You've got Duncan wishing a happy birthday to himself. I love you guys. You have been making my day for 6 years. I am 20 now, so he's been listening since he was 14 years old.
Nice, Duncan.
That's awesome. Nate's wishing a birthday to his dad, Jeremy. He loves plants of all kind, dad jokes, and cats. He is also currently the 3-year running champion of best backyard of all of California.
Oh, nice.
Maybe self.
I love those. I drive through a neighborhood that has a yard of the month award, and you can put a like sign in your yard. Like I like to keep my yard looking nice because I just personally like it, but I would not want to be that person that is meticulously living and dying for your yard. It's too hot to cut it in the summer and stuff. And mine always looks good. I always mow it, but man, I can't keep plants alive.
No.
I want the least maintenance.
I'd love to have cool things in my backyard. Like I'd love to have a pool, and I do maintenance on my pool. Like I think that like Haley's grandpa had one for a long time, and it's just nice. Like it's a nice thing, especially like during the hot summer. But you're right, like the trimmings and plants and flowers and all of this stuff. But kudos to people who do love it. Okay, I've got I think 2 more here. Let's see. Caleb wishing his dad a happy birthday. He has an arsenal of punny T-shirts. Oh yeah,
same guy.
Punny T-shirt guy.
Oh,
is it?
Guy.
Did I see that? So Caleb's a dad. Maybe it is.
It's got to be. Like who else has an arsenal of punny T-shirts?
Yeah, 2 kids wishing him happy birthday. That's pretty good. And then Robert is wishing I think this is an anniversary, 15-year anniversary to Jordan. She's an incredible woman, mother, and entrepreneur.
Nice.
To do that. Okay, and then a question from them is, if you could pick one TV show to live in, what would it be?
Silver Spoons. It was an old TV show starring Ricky Schroeder, who then went on to Blue Bloods, I think. Or no.
What was it called? Silver Spoons?
Silver Spoons. It's the story of this rich kid who had a train running through his front, in his living room and stuff. Was Alfonso Ribeiro on that show? I think Alfonso Ribeiro was on that show too, where he got his start. Oh, no, that was Fresh Prince.
Ricky Schroeder.
Schroeder.
Yeah, Alfonso.
Alfonso was on that too?
Yeah, he was.
I can't believe
72 episodes.
Yeah.
And you had Jason Bateman. Did you say that already?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But yeah, Bateman was in it. So there were some guys that got their start there. But it was one of these shows that as you watch it as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, just to be that rich would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would be so
the
happy.
house you live in, and literally his dad would ride this train. And I think his dad was like a toy inventor. And so that was also like a cool thing as a kid. Oh, absolutely. I'd still like to live like that.
I think if I was going to choose one, just for my nerdy sake, I'd go with Star Trek.
Oh,
Get to live on the ship, travel around, see all the planets. Shoot some laser guns.
Yeah.
Do some fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think I know Betty's, and she's not here.
Do you think she'd go back to black and white?
Oh, absolutely. Andy Griffith.
Yeah.
1,000,000,000%. Easier time, and so she would do that.
I think Betty would be even though I think she loves tech, loves TikTok, loves all these things, I think Betty might do the best at you and her would do great at surviving, I think, without technology. I don't think I'd love that.
What was really funny is so I had made the thing for Betty for her cat, the cat box thing, piece of furniture. And so I delivered it to her on Saturday. And so we take it up there, and we walk into her house, and she's got a new place, so we hadn't been there yet. And Beans wanted nothing to do with us. He hid.
Oh, really?
So sad.
Is that your first time seeing Beans?
I'd seen him one other time, and he ran. I had to pick her up from the airport at her old apartment.
Poor guy.
And so we go in, and her place is decorated cute. She's done a good job with it and everything. But then she wanted this piece of furniture in her bedroom, and so the door was closed, and she opens the bedroom, and I walk in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just walked through a portal in time back to the 70s.
Really?
She has this floor lamp. They used to have these floor lamps that had a spring in the top and the bottom, and they would attach to the floor and the ceiling. The springs would keep them thing. And they're these old lantern-style glass domes on them. She has a faux fireplace, all mid-century modern furniture, and she has wooden ducks on the wall.
Those are amazing.
It literally is I walked back in time to a trailer in the 70s.
I forget how much of a mainstay those ducks were when we did Zoom for a time when she was home for a long time. We got to see those ducks every single day. But she is unashamedly herself.
But it was great because I'm this is you. I get it. And she had a record player there and stuff. And it was just textbook Betty.
You have people who really, I think, try their best to lean into oh, I'm just an old spirit, and all this stuff where it feels sort of cheesy and forced. Nothing forced about the way that she is an old spirit.
She is, and again, it's her, and it looked good. She did a good job with it. I wouldn't have it. And the funny thing is the one piece of art she has in her room is this macrame thing, this old wood latch hook rug thing that she got when she was with me at a flea market. And that's her main piece in there, and it's horrible. I've told her about this. It's so funny, but it was cute, and she is her own thing.
Yep.
And that's what I love about it.
Would fit hopefully, well, in the world of Andy Griffith, because that is who she is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that, I think that's going to do it for the old Aftercast here. And again, thank you if you supported the ministry of WayFM during our support drive. Thank you. You enabled us to keep going, and we're going to do this again tomorrow.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.